there's lots of young actors coming in who haven't got agents, and I know you say you contact their agents. How would they go about getting into radio advertising, and how would you react if they tried to contact you?
The truth, forget it.
And welcome once again to our wonderful podcast, Voice Acting Unplugged, that explores all the different areas of the voiceover industry. And I'm joined, as per usual, by my, wait for it, mettlesome co-host, Mr. Mettlesome.
Mettlesome.
M-E-T-T, Mettlesome.
Oh, it means I have metal, does it?
Well,
you don't even know, do you?
Yes, I do. It means you're adventurous. You're a kind of Huckleberry Finn or Anne of Green Gables. Basically, you went up in the flying eye.
Oh, right.
Mr.
Okay,
Anthony
I'll take
Rudd.
that then,
Here
whatever it means. Okay, and we're joined today by another gentleman who's on the client side. So, as always, when the client is in the house, we're on our best behaviour. Paul Burke is a copywriter and advertising producer. He has 30 years experience writing ads at the top UK ad agencies. He's won so many Ariel Awards they gave him a Lifetime Achievement Award. He was also presented a radio advertising fellowship at the House of Lords, no less. And he's worked with some of the biggest actors in the industry, including Hugh Bonneville, Olivia Colman, Benedict Cumberbatch, Rowan Atkinson and David Tennant, no less. Extraordinary. Welcome, Paul Burke.
Thank you very much. Lovely to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us. It's an absolute honour to have you on. You're an extremely busy man. I've seen
Not on a Monday, I'm not usually.
I've seen various articles in The Spectator. You've got 4 books, one of which is being made into a movie.
No, you say that. Don't even go there.
Okay, we'll leave that one.
Exactly.
But otherwise, a very
all you need
busy
to know
man.
about books being made into movies is if you remember a film called The Bodyguard with Kevin Costner and Whitney Houston.
Yeah.
Yes.
The original stars of that were Steve McQueen and Diana Ross.
No.
It took 20 years.
Wow.
So, So much as we slag off advertising and radio commercials, at least they mean it. At least, here's the money for the recording. We do it on Thursday and we're going to be on the air on Friday.
Absolutely.
And if you're used to that, the film industry is awful.
Fantastic.
Before we get into that, let's why don't you tell us a bit about yourself, Paul, how you started, how you got to where you are.
Me? I'm an utterly
You're the guest.
I'm an utterly useless human being. I was bottom of the class at all sciences. I was the only one who didn't have to do a science O-level because it's a waste of time. Bottom of the class at art, bottom of the class at woodwork, metalwork. So the only O-levels I did were the only ones left. And the one thing I was always good at was English language. But you can't do that after O-level. When you get to it's all lit. I still hate Shakespeare and Dickens and still do.
Yeah.
And I had no qualifications when I left school because I didn't really go to school in the sixth form. But someone came round our school. What I fancied doing was being a journalist, but some bloke came round our school from the local paper, which was the Wembley Observer. I always remember him going, yes, I've been at the Wembley Observer now for 37 years, and I feel part of the community. I've covered their weddings. I've covered their children's weddings. I thought, kill me now. And then someone came around from an advertising agency, and he was quite cool. He was nice, and he gave a little, and he said, hands up, who's heard of Saatchi & Saatchi? And we all had. I still think Saatchi & Saatchi is the only agency most people in Britain have heard of. And he goes, there's lots of agencies like that. There's loads of them. And so I got the yellow pages out. I got home. The first one was Abbott, Mead and Vickers.
Yeah.
But didn't heard it. Can I speak to Mr. Abbott, please? This is only David Abbott, probably the greatest ad man this country has ever produced.
Yeah.
And ignorance can be a wonderful thing. Can I speak to Mr. Abbott? I'd like to work in advertising. They made an appointment for me. No. I get in. I'm only got my suit on, top man suit, grey. You know those maroon loafers we used to wear with white socks? It was the 80s. So I go in and, hello, David Abbott, how do you do? He said, where's your book? You know, to anyone who doesn't know, a book is your portfolio of your ads that you've done.
Yeah.
And put to me a book. what do you mean? And he said, your portfolio, your ads. And I said, I haven't got one. He said, I thought you wanted to work in that. Well, I do. I didn't. And he would, instead of just telling me to fuck off, he drew these Venn diagrams. And he goes, well, this is production and this is creative and account management. And they go to the clients with it. And then he went out to his secretary's phone and he said, Rod, are you still looking for a runner? Because I've got a boy here, seems all right. Can I bring him down? So he brings me into the basement to the post room, the dispatch department. And I think because David Abbott brought me down, Rod, who is lovely and I'm in touch with to this day, felt duty-bound to give me a job.
Yeah.
So I was the runner, running around Soho with all the bits and pieces. And gradually, I could talk for the whole podcast.
Go ahead.
I just found my people, is the way I'd put it. And for want of a better word, they were really cool. I don't mean, they were just friendly, intelligent, very often working class people who just had a penchant for writing and drawing, I suppose, or just being artistic. And I loved them. And in the end, to cut a long story short, every podcast, this is going too late for that, mate, too late. But I transferred to becoming a copywriter. And
how did you do that though? I mean,
well,
because a lot of people get stuck at the bottom.
Yeah, and also what I was then, I started in the post room, but then as the agency grew, I was what they called a traffic and production assistant, which meant just getting the ads out to the newspapers.
I've done it myself, actually.
Yeah, and I think the natural progression for that and my spiritual home would have been a house in Essex and playing golf with Harry Redknapp. It was, and I'd already got a bit of pretend, because what my wife said to me, which is so true, she said, the trouble with you, when she's angry with me one day, you're common in all the wrong ways. And I knew what she meant. Like, fucking is fucking that, swearing at the telly when the football was on, driving up the street with reggae came out of the fucking speakers. When it comes to something a common person might be good at, like putting a shelf up or doing a bit of plaster. Oh, no, darling. I'm so sorry. I'm a published author. So common and pretentious. So I'd already become pretentious. And what happened was, what they used to do, because I was familiar, I'd been doing about 3 years there. And there was a wonderful, wonderful, talented creative team who seemed really old at the time, but they were probably in their mid-30s. But I was 20. And they did a thing called the D&AD evening. Now, that meant the students from all the art colleges got on this course, and then they would go to the agencies and show their work, and they'd get, it would be critiqued. And that evening, this lovely creative team, John Horton and Richard Foster, said, why don't you come along to that? I said, I've never written anything in my life. No, I don't want to come to that. They said, oh, you might like it. No, I'm not interested in that. Look, just sit at the back, shut up, don't say anything. And so I went along, and it was quite interesting because I had a vague interest in it, and the kids are about my age and they were showing their work and this one's good, this one's not so good, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, that's all right. And, it went on for a couple of hours after work, so about 8 o'clock, I'm just going home, and Richard Foster, the copywriter, pretended he didn't know me. He said, excuse me, what? You've forgotten your brief for next week. So I had to take it. And the following week it was at Saatchi & Saatchi, and I was on the course, and I had to start writing ads.
Wow.
And gradually I got a portfolio together. And then one day I got a job at a place called Young and Rubicon as a writer. And that was it, really. So I still, in effect, haven't left school. I'm still writing essays and handing them into the teacher. The only difference is I don't get thrashed every day by priests.
Fantastic.
But that's pretty much how I did it.
You particularly ended up working with radio.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
It's just that I've got the visual sense of Stevie Wonder. I've just got no... I was bottom of the class at art.
Oh.
But I always did like to write. And so when I went to BNP, DDB, which is a fantastic agency, they gave me a radio brief for The Guardian, and that was just up my street, that kind of thing. And you had to do one commercial every single day. And again, it was before email, so I'd wait for the story. It'd be faxed over in the morning. I look at, okay, write the ad, sort of lunchtime, get it approved, and then about 4 o'clock go and record it at Angel Sam with Nick, and then it would be on the air the next day. And I did that. It was perfect for me. No attention span, no visuals. As we were saying, at least they meant it. No, we've got airtime booked tomorrow morning, so that makes you do it. Yeah. And it was The Guardian, so they were quite a good client. And, they weren't all, hurry, hurry, hurry to the January sale. And that went well. And he got a couple of awards. And so from then on, they gave me the radio, which is just as well, because it was such a good creative department full of really brilliant people. I was nowhere near, still not as good as them. But that thing, don't be the best, be the only.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not saying I'm the only one who wrote radio commercials. Of course I wasn't. But I was the only one that really liked it.
Yeah.
And of course, because I'm such a shallow human being, as you mentioned at the beginning, it gives you the chance to meet lots of people off the telly. And you'd get, this has happened to me so many times. I'm watching something on BBC or whatever and thought, she's good. The one that plays the daughter, she's really good. Who's that? And that's, say, Tuesday. And on Friday, there she is in the studio, reading out something I've written. I mean, what's not to love?
Absolutely.
Never mind exotic TV shoots.
Do you cast people like that?
Always, yeah.
Okay,
Always
so you've actually
casting.
cast people off the telly as well, have you?
Yeah, I cast Simon Greenall to do the Meerkats.
Right.
He has to get on
my
his
drama school.
Yeah, I mean, he has to get on his knees every time he sees me. I can't imagine. So what I did with him was, I used, not so much now, I used to get a lot of casting work through producers who were Australian or South African or something. Because like you wouldn't be able to tell a Johannesburg accent from a Durban one.
Yeah.
They don't really know one English accent from another. So they'd often give me, and they said they got this brief for this. And I knew Simon could do two brilliant things. He could do this funny Dutch bloke and a funny Greek bloke. And I thought either the funny Dutch bloke or the funny Greek bloke would be ideal for the Meerkat. But he ended up doing a funny Russian bloke.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's brilliant.
Works, doesn't it, that?
Yeah. So no, I always cast them. Sometimes I cast quite a lot of voices that aren't for my work, for TV commercials and things like that.
I see that's the question that we need to ask. How do you go about finding your voices? Obviously, you have your own little file of facts or whatever we have these days.
I mean, that's how it started. How it started was when I'd done an ad that I liked, or not even that I'd liked. It might be a bit crap, but the voice was good, and the voice was being how he or she is. So I just, once MP3s became a thing, then I kept a little file of them. And I sound like some sort of psychopath. I got a file of thousands of them. Very often, files that aren't on the agent's website. And so sometimes when I'm casting, I have to pretend it took me longer than it really did. Because I think, I know it'll be good. I'm making this up, but say they asked me to cast something for Barclays, and I'd already done something quite similar 6 months ago for NatWest. I've got a little file of the NatWest voices. I think, it'll be good. Just leave that a day or two.
Yeah.
and then send them over. But sometimes it's hard. The hardest one I had to get, and I got her in the end, was a native French-Canadian voice.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Because I thought she just sounded French, but then when you put the French-Canadian, and she demonstrated, no, French-Canadian, it's like us.
It's different, isn't it? And
very, very different.
And all that stuff, yeah.
Yeah, all that stuff. And, casting's my favourite job, because if I'm honest, it's the easiest. I've got all the files. Again, I'm sounding increasingly like a psychopath, but you sort of, you hear voices in your head. You read something and you hear the sort of accent, the sort of delivery it'll be. So, that's what I do.
So do you just use your little list, or do you go through agents as well?
Little list? No.
Well, a very long list then, okay.
Casting people are so shit now. So shit. They don't even cast, these people that call themselves producers. They often work at the sound studios, who I love, but what they do is they've got their list of, the top agents, whether it's Another Tongue, Yakety Yak, Sue Terry, and they'll just phone up Sue or Yakities and say, oh, we need a northern guy, 40 to 50, blah, blah, blah.
Female.
They'll send a few links, and that's that. Whereas I will think,
Yeah.
I start with a person. I want him or I want her. Who are they with? And I remember someone saying to me, introducing their voice agency, he goes, so which voice agency do you use? And it's a bit like, what? No, I give the person and then find out who they're with.
Yeah.
And I'll only use people generally if they've got voice agents. Because sometimes you get someone who's really good, but they're with a theatrical agent.
Who don't know about voiceover.
First of all, they think you're trying to have you over on the money. And you go, will you be sending a car? No, I won't. Look, it's a voiceover. It's here. I've got this money. And worse than all of them are comedy agents.
Oh, okay.
They always think, when I say with a voice agent, I don't keep anything for myself. I'm getting paid anyway. I'd never cheat a voiceover.
No, sure.
Because they're poorer than I am. So, and you just go, I've got £2,500. Yeah, you can have it all. Well, they think I'm pretending I've got 5 really, and we can negotiate. Whereas voice agents, the ones I've mentioned and all the others, they get it. Yeah, you got £2,500. Yes or no? And without being in any way stroppy, it is sort of take it or leave it. It's yours if you want it.
Yeah.
I say I've got £2,500, but it should really be 4. And you go, look, I've only got £2,500, and it should be 4, and I'm aware of that. But it is only 40 minutes work.
Yeah.
Do you want to do it?
Sure.
I do like cars because I like actors. I like you lot. You're like human beings, but more so.
We are human beings.
No, you're like
Some of
We've
us,
got
not all of us.
feelings.
you're like human beings, but more so. Your ups are up, your downs are down. You're self-obsessed, just like I am.
Yes.
So,
absolutely.
and I don't regard actors as my friends. I don't hang out with them, but I know them in the street. Yeah. I've helped them. I've given them work. They've done work for me where they should have got more money. So,
now, I recall reading something that you had said, that there is a difference between a voice actor for radio ads and for television ads.
Oh, yeah. Very often I've said, he's good enough for TV, but he's not good enough for radio. Because with TV, I understand it's obvious, but the voice is just, the main thing is the visual. In life, you take far more notice of what you see than what you hear. So a voiceover can be fine, supporting the visuals, and on the screen you might have a shot of the product and the line that the voiceover's saying. So as he or she says it, you sort of know what they're saying. Whereas on radio, you haven't got any of that.
No.
Nothing exists until they say it, until you write it and they say it. So
the theatre of the mind, as they say.
Yeah.
That's why I love doing radio audio drama, because you have to imagine it.
No,
all.
you do. And things like I said in that piece in The Critic, a lot of people are stars, and quite rightly, because they've got great presence or they're very good looking or charismatic, but you take that away and it's just their voice. Some of them are shit. I'd love to tell you which ones are just not very good. And sometimes the great stage actors don't know how to sort of, and they're doing all this and that.
Yeah.
And you go, mate, no one can see you.
Yeah.
That said, a lot of people who I know and I've worked with can do both brilliantly.
Yeah.
It's not one or the other. Lots of people can do both, but some of them can't. And that thing with comedians as well. Comedians, they're hilarious. They're live at the Apollo, but they're doing all sorts of facial expressions and pauses. Yeah. Take that away, and it's just their voice reading someone else's script that isn't that funny.
Yeah.
They can struggle.
So in the 30 years you've been doing this, a lot must have changed. For a start, the voices that you hear on advertising have changed dramatically.
Yeah, they have.
The delivery has. Are you finding that there are people that you used to work with that you can't really work with anymore?
Oh, no, never.
Really?
Never. Because I'm not saying, I think if you went back to the 1950s, they were all like that. And I'm not suggesting they should all be like Bob Danvers Walker, but there was what's happened, and this is such a, why break the habit of a lifetime, self-regarding thing to say, but you know this yourself because of what you do for a living. There was them and there was us, And we were writers, actors, photographers, agents, directors, the creative Johnnies. And then there was them. And they're perfectly nice and we need them and we coexisted quite well. They were solicitors and accountants and lawyers and they played golf and lived out in the suburbs. And that was fine for years and years and years. We sort of liked each other. And then a generation of them, round about in the mid-90s, decided they wanted to be the cool kids. And they came into our business as they came into comedy and television. And they've ruined it. And because they weren't brought up, for instance, with black people, they think, hey, let's be really street and get a black person. You go, why? You know, if he's the best person on the job, which he might well be, great, but not just for the colour of their skin, particularly as you won't see them. Or let's use a northern accent because that's really accessible, isn't it? And I know you've got a northern accent, Margaret, because I heard it. Because what did you say? You said something like admit. You put too much on the first vowel.
Well, actually, darling, it very much depends upon which character you want me to play.
No, I know you can do RP absolutely perfectly. But and you know, so at Sainsbury's, just no. And by making things, if you like, down... I remember hearing some bloke on the BBC, who were the uncoolest people of them all. And it was something like, say it was Match of the Day, and coming up in an hour... What do you mean coming up in an hour?
That's on the BBC a lot.
It was on the... I know. Because the BBC are the ultimate examples of them.
Yeah.
Well, no, they weren't. I mean, the BBC used to make amazing comedy and drama and was full of, if you like, us. But they really have colonised the BBC. And the point I always make is, you know, if you're learning in a foreign language, you would be told to get the pronunciation right.
Sure.
So this thing that my laptop on is a table. It's not a table, you know, and you might understand what I'm saying.
Hey, what are you trying to do me Geordie accent
Yeah,
like
exactly.
that?
You know,
I mean, you are.
But someone whose first language isn't English is wondering what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah.
And so, to my mind, two things: the greatest population densities in the southeast. That's not enough. Seriously, I'm not saying someone's got a lovely voice and a nice attitude. I don't care where they come from. But if you're purely talking about making something accessible, you're best with a, if you like, a neutral southeastern accent because it's the most easily understood, particularly by people whose first language isn't English.
But of course, there was that time, probably in the 90s, where a lot of agents got rid of their RP southeastern voices because people wanted regional accents.
Yeah, they thought they did. The other thing that he said, which is a load of bollocks, is Scottish accents are more trustworthy. I used to do the Barclay card ads with an accent. I remember sitting in this boat on this, going around the bay during the break in the filming, those are the days, in Sicily with a Barclay card client who was Scottish. And he goes, and he just laughed. He goes, "Oh yeah, we made that up." I don't remember you made that up. He said, "Well, we've moved the call centres to Scotland, so we thought it made sense." And it did make sense. If you're phoning your bank, when you phone them, you hear a Scottish accent. So let's have a Scottish accent on the telly. Great. And then somehow someone said Scottish accents are more trustworthy, which to me is racist. It's racist. Yeah. No accent is more or less trustworthy than another. And then what happened is Gordon Brown didn't handle the economy terribly well. Then you had the scandals with RBS and HBOS, and there was that Fred the Shred who got stripped of his knighthood. He was Scottish.
Yeah.
But what really did for Scottish voiceovers, and it's a shame because if I name-check Lewis MacLeod and Aileen Mowat, they're two of the greatest voiceovers. And actually David Tennant, I've only used him a couple of times, he was really good. Yeah. But what did for him was, during the World Cup, a lot of English marketing directors apparently heard of Scottish people supporting anyone but England. And they thought, why don't you fuck off? We're not having you racists, or not. And it went out of fashion. Actually, talking about David Tennant, he was doing something for Chase Bank recently. Right. And I honestly thought, as did other people, the name of this bank, because it wasn't a familiar bank, was Cheese.
Cheese Bank, yeah.
Yeah. And they had to replace David Penn on Cheese Bank for Rob Brydon, who actually says Chase Bank.
Yeah.
So that's me, that's you, that's somebody who speaks English. If you've never heard this bank before, I honestly thought he was saying cheese. But a mate of mine said, the client just wanted the vanity snap. Here I am with David Tennant.
Yeah.
And actually, I feel a bit bad because he came in, he did Heinz for me, and he was delightful, and he was really good. But that said, say there was the word chase in my script and he said cheese, I would have picked him up on it. Of course I would. So, David, it's coming out a bit cheese. I know it's your accent. Can you make it a bit more? And he'd have done that in a second.
Problem,
And whoever the nitwits are who were in charge of that session, they didn't pick it up.
He's really good at accents, isn't he? He could have done that.
Yeah, he'd
anyway.
easily do that. Why don't you make him do it?
Yeah, I mean, just mentioning it, because I yell at the radio when I hear adverts and I hear people mispronouncing words. There was one for, I think it was either British Rail or Southern Rail, and they were saying, and so the schedule is, this is British Rail, it's schedule. Why hasn't anybody picked them up on that?
Yeah.
Are there people who are listening in and saying, oh, no, that's not that, you haven't said that properly? Or does it just go, oh, yeah, they've done it exactly as we want, thanks very much, and pass it?
Yeah.
I mean, I can't speak for other people. It's like asking me how other people have sex. I'm not there. I know how I do it. I tell you what I do. I mean, I have been at places where people have gone, right, Margaret, what we want is... and you go, leave her alone. Just, Margaret, hello. Well, the first thing I'd do with you if you came in, that sounds wrong. The first thing I'd say to you when you came in was, I'd just spend 5 minutes talking to you. Where do you live? What are you doing? And say you've been in a programme, I'd say, because it would be true, because I would have seen you, which is probably why you were there. I'd say, I really liked you in that programme, and we'd have a chat, and I'm sure you would go into the booth, put your headphones on and think, like me in that programme. So you're already predisposed, because we've spent 5 minutes just like people do, talk to each other. You just go, right, Margaret. Then I go, right, have a run through. You'd have a run through. And that'd be good, but can we just pick that up? Oh, that's great, but it's a bit, but let you do it first. Then go through until I've got exactly what I wanted. And at the end I go, brilliant, we're going to take 5 was perfect, but we're actually going to put the end of take 7 on that. Brilliant. But before you go, could you just do it the way you think it ought to be? Yeah. And 9 times out of 10, your one will be better. Yeah. It might not be. There's been a couple of occasions when it's been considerably worse, but 9 times out of 10, the actor's one is better. And even if they fluff at the end, great, we'll just stick the end of take 7 on that. Yeah. That was brilliant up to there.
I think we like this, man.
No, but you've got somebody, why wouldn't you get them to do it get what you want, whatever it happens to be.
But they're the people with the expertise, really, to deliver a script.
Yes. And also, it always looks like in sessions that I just fuck about and don't do anything. But I have done the work before. Yeah. I've got the right person, usually. I mean, not always, but pretty much always. I've got the right person for the job. The script's it's always too long, too short, or something doesn't sound, something you haven't noticed when you write it. And the moment the person says, oh my God, that sounds weird. I don't think I've ever recorded a script as written. No. But it should just be fun. It should just be.
Have you ever got auditions for a job?
People make me do that sometimes, and they've asked me and I've told them to fuck off when they say, could you get them to record it on their phones? Oh, yeah. I said, no. 2 reasons. It won't be very good. No. They won't be, it just won't, no matter who they are, it won't be very good. It's not going to sound right. They won't be at their best doing that. 2, these people's livelihoods. Yeah. And I always insist on, because you get in, and for the artist it's quite easy, just read it out. So half your studio fee. Yeah. Otherwise they don't feel valued. You don't have to give them all of it, but give them half, because they're not going to be there for an hour. They're going to be there 15 minutes. Yeah, sure. And if you won't do that, I'm not doing the job.
Well, I'm impressed with that, because I don't think I've ever heard of that before. So that's good.
No, yeah. Give them... it's your livelihood, you know. Yeah. I mean, I get this all the time because I work, and people who work freelance get it all the time. Can I pick your brains? And you feel like saying, yeah, can I pick your pocket? But but you don't. And also, as you know, you get the people who think they can do it.
Yeah.
And
I've been told I've got a lovely voice. Can I be a voice actor?
Don't.
Yeah.
You probably haven't. Not you personally, the person.
Yeah.
And B, having a lovely voice isn't even half of it.
No.
Yeah.
A lot of American...
This guy phoned me up once, and he was actually very nice. He goes, hello, so-and-so gave me your number. He did have a nice voice. I'd like to get into voice acting. I went, oh, okay.
We've got a job for you this afternoon. Come on in.
I just said, what do you do then? He goes, oh, well, I work as an analyst in the city. I said, so you've got a job? And I just said, look, you have got a nice voice, but it's no nicer than the professional actors I use. And these people sacrificed everything to go to drama school. This is all they do, and they don't have jobs in the city. And if you want to give up your job in the city and go to drama school, which is probably about 45, then I'd take the same attitude in favour of you. And actually he was very nice. He goes, I've never thought of it like that. And I said, there's not an actor in the world who makes their living from voiceovers.
No.
Some of them sometimes, much less regularly than you think, will get a very lucrative session. But that's not their... And even if they get that doesn't last them forever, not even Simon Greenall.
No.
And also the other thing is with you lot is, I loved you in that sitcom in the 80s that we used to watch. Because you were very famous then, and we all watched the same programmes, they think you're a multi-millionaire. And this thing could be 30 or 40 years ago.
Yeah.
People don't understand. There was another woman actually once who did have a lovely... just now and again you get one who could do it. And she had a great voice, and she worked for the NHS. And she was London intelligent, but there was a quality to her voice that told you she was black.
Right.
It was a really lovely voice. And she was worth... But I said, you should do this. And she goes, do you think so? Oh, that'd be fantastic. She goes, Tuesdays are my best days. I can sometimes do Thursday. I'm going, no, you're not understanding.
Yeah.
Even then, I got her to do a test for Sainsbury's. And I rang her, and one of her kids answered the phone. Is your mum there? Can you get her to call me? And the kid, and she came in, and she was, but she just didn't get it. No, you have to come. I don't mean in 5 minutes notice, but if we tell you Tuesday at 3:30, it's Tuesday at 3:30. You can't say no. Can I do Wednesday?
Yeah.
So no, it's much more difficult, much less lucrative, and much more skill than most people give it credit for.
Yeah.
I could never do it.
No.
I mean, when I've had to do, I'm all right for going. Say we're doing a pitch and there's no money. Hello, can I help you? I can do that, but the moment I have to read anything longer than that, and I wrote it. I know exactly how it's supposed to be, and somewhere between my brain and my mouth, it goes the wrong way. Or I sound incredibly common, or like I'm putting on a posh voice because I'm reading in assembly, but I never sound right. I don't want to do it.
I wanted to ask you. We always ask this question because it's the question of the day. I'm pretty certain the answer is going to be that you're not using them. But what do you think of AI voices as they are at the moment? And will they ever
I think they're creepier.
Feature in advertising?
Yes, aren't they?
Well, it's easy to say no because they sound so shit, but that's not to say they won't get better and better. I think, and I could be wrong, I don't want to be sued, but I keep hearing this Irish voice for not Spotify, the other one, Shopify.
Oh, yeah.
That turns up in podcasts that doesn't sound like a human being. And also, I was on a plane. I was on a Ryanair plane, which is fine. A Ryanair plane. They were doing the safety instructions, and I'm pretty certain that was AI. That's fine. Don't care about that.
Yeah.
You can do that.
Spotify are definitely using AI voices.
Yeah. It would. Yeah. I mean, I was probably a bit too rude to this person. But I got sent this thing. Hi, Paul. We understand you good at radio. And we've developed this thing called whatever it was called, and these were techie people, and from their point of view, and to be fair, it's absolutely brilliant. You can type your brief into AI will write you a script, and then you can choose, would you like male, female, Manchester, London, Scotland?
Oh, yeah.
And I said, I hope your thing is a dismal failure.
Yeah.
I said, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be rude, too late, but I'm sure it is a wonderful technical accomplishment, and you should be very proud of that. But have you thought about what you're doing? This is was a lovely, thriving industry on which producers like me, writers like me, actors like the people I know, studios depend on, and you're going to decimate it.
Yep.
And he was actually very nice in his reply, but it was just the difference between somebody who is from this industry and somebody who's purely technical and wants to invent something technically brilliant.
We can, so we should kind of attitude. Yeah.
There are so many more questions we'd love to ask. We could have you on here for an hour and a half or more, but we only generally have half an hour.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I've gone on. Have I,
That's all right.
have I gone on too much about myself? Yes.
That was the plan from the start.
We've said that you have your long list of actors that you know, and I hope you'll remember Anthony now from now on. But there's lots of young actors coming in who haven't got agents, and I know you say you contact their agents. How would they go about getting into radio advertising, and how would you react if they tried to contact you?
The truth, forget it. Do something else. Because of, the other problem that I haven't mentioned is the radio stations make them themselves. And let's just say cost is their main driver.
Yeah.
And I remember doing work for one radio station, and I wasn't looking for mega expensive celebrities, just the sort of regular actors, good ones that I use all the time. And again, I'm not saying these were the agents. Say it was people that we all use, like Hobson's and Yak to Yak. And they said, oh, no, we don't use those. We have our list of approved agents. So, oh, fair enough, bung them over. Yeah. I know everyone. I'd never heard of any of these voice agents or any of these people. And it was obvious that they were just, this was years ago, this was maybe 10 years ago. They were just trying to keep the cost down. And so what I'd say, it's hugely oversubscribed. The agents can't get enough work for the wonderfully talented actors they've got, unless you are absolutely exceptional, which you're probably not. I mean, now and again, I tried to get that NHS woman a job because her voice is amazing.
Yeah.
What?
That'll be the train then.
Might be next door playing the fucking trumpet. But I would just advise them not to do it.
I mean, they pay ridiculous. So they're from £27 upwards now.
Yeah,
£27.50
if you work direct to the stations.
What I would advise them to do is pursue your, if you like, proper acting career, as you were going to do anyway, on the stage, on the telly, whatever it is you do. Try and get your break that way, and then having got your break that way, then people will say, oh, I liked you in that programme, and then you'll get in. But straight off the bat, an unknown voiceover trying to find an agent, don't waste your time. Seriously, your time is better spent pursuing the other aspects of an acting career.
And radio ads. Now that all of the small radio companies have been bought up and overtaken by, is there a need for regional accents?
Of course. Say you're doing an ad for Newcastle Brown Ale or the Welsh Tourist Board, of course you'd use that accent. Or if it's something that's only going to run in Manchester, of course you'd use that accent. And again, if you got someone, I was exaggerating the point, going, Tibble, I can't understand a word you're saying.
And I just say you've got a rotten Geordie accent.
Most regional accents are perfectly well understood by other people. But I go for the voice first, or the attitude behind the voice, then the accent. And if I just like them and I like the sound of their voice, and it's usually, your voice reflects what you are anyway.
Yeah.
It's the bit where you can't hide. So if you like them, you're probably going to like their voice. And the accent, I wouldn't say is immaterial, but it's less important.
Fabulous. Paul, it's been incredible to talk to you. You're a mine of huge amounts of information that are very useful to the likes of us who know nothing of advertising.
What do you mean? You're flattered. You're amazing.
Yes. You've been brilliant and very, very interesting to listen to. So thank you very much for sparing us your time. It's been absolutely wonderful.
No. I've got that confluence of arrogance and humility.
Wonderful.
Oh, I'm the best in the world. Oh, thank you so much for asking me. Yes, of course. So it was absolute joy and an honour to be asked.
We have definitely got to do a sitcom on this. Get your pen out, Paul, and start writing a sitcom.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so everybody, if you've enjoyed this podcast, which I'm sure you have because it's been wonderful, then please do follow us, subscribe. All the information about Paul, Anthony and I will be in the comments, but do please subscribe and leave us a review. Thank you for listening or watching.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Lots of love.
Bye-bye. Bye.